Good morning. It's Saturday morning and I'm on my drawing. Sounds like a rhyme. So here I am. Every day I'm doing a drawing. Yesterday was the Wizard's Apprentice. Oh, I'm just going to move that camera down a bit. There we are, that's better. Yesterday was the Wizard's Apprentice and then the Wizard himself. I drew a foxglove. Oh my goodness, I've forgotten about the foxglove. And Braden Boren's Cottage of Alchemy. The Bluebell Fairy. That's going off to America. Some fairy and elvish houses built into a tree. Toadstool experts. And the first one was a good book will always look after you. And it will. So there, that's what I'm doing. A drawing a day for 30 days. That's part of my world. I'm promoting what I do, which is writing books and illustrating them. They are called The Realms of Elsewhere. And the books, too, are already out. And this is the first one, which is The Hidden Destiny. Each one I illustrate, of course, as well as obviously write. It is another world. And I get lots of lovely comments, which is really nice. The sharing of my world with others. So I'm doing, as I say, I'm doing a live drawing every day to promote what I do. And next week, beginning from Monday, I will be doing a drawing on here that you can win. Free. It'll be free. And yeah, I thought that would be really nice. I'm doing it on TikTok at the minute. So if you happen to be on TikTok, you can already enter. I'm doing that at 7:30 every morning. And here on this illustration, I'm drawing a man called Eldrin, who was outwitted in my books, who's outwitted the Lord of the Shadows. He has created something called the obelisk, and it's a machine that is sitting in the middle of a square in the city of dragons. And let me just show you. I did a very rough sketch of the square. This is literally a rough sketch. People moving around, that's the museum in the City of Dragons. And this is the obelisk. And here is a complete drawing of the obelisk. And this bit from there downwards is underground in the square. And they discover there is a key to open it. And it is in the form of the obelisk itself. So that's what I'm drawing. I'm drawing the key held in the hand of Eldrin, master keymaker. And I'm combining pencil, mostly hard pencil, so HB, H and 2HB, but I'm also using, this one is a 6B to give me some depth, and then pens as well. I love folds in hands, got enough of them myself. They tell me a lot about people. So I've been working on this project since 1976, late 76, early 77. And firstly, as a sculptor in porcelain, because I dyslexic, I couldn't write my world. So once I'd drawn the map of my world, um, here's the map of the world, the realms of elsewhere. There are 32 countries, and yeah, so it's a big thing. And here are some of the sculptures that I started making. Dragon, obviously, fairy village, a fairy. That's say 12 inches high. That's around about the same size. It's about 14 inches high. Lots of gold. There's Merlin actually there. So I use lots of different things. But the reason why I started creating my world in porcelain, because of the dyslexia, I couldn't write about it. I couldn't do the narratives, I should say. I was writing some of the backstory, but I couldn't do the narratives, and I couldn't write about the characters. I just didn't have it in me. So I sculpted the land, painted the land, did lots of illustrations. A lot of people bought the work, which was really lovely, actually. Um, and then eventually, so many people bought the work around the world that I was just sharpening that pencil, just needed. So many people bought the work that they started to ask me, could we have the stories? I've got this sculpture, or I've got these sculptures of this world of yours. Could you, could you, could you tell us the stories? It would be amazing. You know, when I come to your studio and you're talking about your work, it'd be amazing if you could do that. And I was really scared about the idea. I just didn't know how I could do it. Write the story, for instance, tell it. What? How do you do that? So I wrote and I learned 3 stories. And then I had a poster done. It wasn't actually this one, but it was just like this one. I had a poster done, printed it and sent it out to all my collectors. And they came to the storytelling exhibition. And I just realised I made a mistake there. That was the very first poster for the very first storytelling exhibition. And yeah, I told stories, but I told them by remembering them, even though they were my stories. Fortunately, there was a storyteller in the audience who put me right about that and said to me very clearly and very kindly, "You have a great voice, Paul. Be a great storyteller, but that wasn't storytelling." And he said, if I'm not mistaken, I think you were remembering those stories. And I said, well, I thought that's what people did. They kind of remembered. No, he said, that's not storytelling. Storytelling is something quite different. It's immersive. I don't think he used that word, but anyway, I knew it then. So I went on a course to begin to understand what is storytelling, what is happening when you tell a story. And I had to let go of the sculpting because I suddenly realized after 1 week course, finding out about stories, that actually it was going to take me a huge amount of time. And I was right in that one because I then began, that was 1994, then began, basically was a 32-year apprenticeship, traveling around Britain, traveling around the world, learning about how to play instruments, told 50,000 stories, and somewhere in there, the penny dropped, as they say. And I realized that what actually happens when you've told stories to many, many, many audiences is that you become the story. It's a bit like any of you telling your story. When you tell your story, it's your story. So, of course, you know your story. You remember, you know what happened to you. when you had an accident, let's say, something that's quite powerful, or when you're complaining about your boss, or your car broke down, you're there back in that moment. Well, that's what happens to the storyteller. Only it's not their story, or it wasn't. They're there when the trees rose up out of the sky and went higher and returned somewhere. If you tell a world myth, how the world was made out of only 7 eggs, you see the bird landing in the ocean, and there's nothing but water. You see her laying her eggs on the knee of a goddess who lived at the bottom of the ocean. You are there. So that's what I began to learn. That's what happened. You learn instinctively about pace. And yeah, I need some folds in here. Definitely need some folds in there. And this is going to cause some shadow. So I'm going to put some shadow in there with the heavy pencil. Um, you begin to become the stories. They become, and of course, the most important thing, this is important, connected to my dyslexia, is that they become part of your emotional memory. So just like the story that actually happens to you, the breakdown of the car, the boss being unkind to you, the job that went wrong, whatever it might be, this happens on stories that don't exist but do exist. They become emotionally part of you. So you learn emotionally. And it's amazing. So as a dyslexic who couldn't read properly, the words jumble around on the page, or I get lost spelling things and all that stuff, all that dreadful stuff. Suddenly I had access to narrative. And crucially, real crucial, I had access to protagonists, to people in the stories. And of course, you tell the story grows, it keeps changing as you develop it, you get to know it. And of course, I didn't realize this, but of course, what happens is in the end, you have this emotional attachment, this emotional learning, and that creates something quite fundamental. Because when I returned to the map that I drew in 1977, when I returned to it, and my wife said to me, my second wife said to me, "Why don't you write the stories?" I told her about the dyslexia, and she said, "But all this storytelling you've done, surely, don't you think you could try again?" Of course, it was true. It was absolutely true. I entered the story just as like I do the stories I've been learning from around the world. I entered the story, and I'm not saying it was easy. I had to learn things, but I had an emotional attachment to the characters I was going to write about. I became them. And so I had my imagination, which has never not been there, and it was being working with my emotional entry into the narrative and the landscapes of story. It was absolutely fundamental moment and transformed my life really. So in 2012, so that's 2012, when I returned to the map that I had drawn 36 years before, I started to write. I began that journey. And that's the first book. And actually, on the back is the first big illustration that I did. I painted that in 77 when I couldn't write. Um, so it became fundamental to what I was going to do. Absolutely fundamental. And So 2012, I started writing, and I've written the 4 books, and I'm kind of combining everything. I hope that kind of makes sense. You can find out an awful lot more by going on my website. There'll be a crowdfunder going up today or tomorrow, and all that I'm doing to share this world that I now write about. It's going to be 9 books in all. I've kind of written the end of the 9-book narrative. There are some things I don't want to know yet. It's too soon. There are things yet to happen. There, that's not bad, really. So that's what I do. That's why I do it. And as I say, 7:30 every morning at midnight, I'm on TikTok, giving away a drawing. And next week, I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to give a drawing. It'll be around about 8:30 every morning. I don't think I can do it earlier. Just simply because, there's only so many hours in the day. I might do it in the evening. It'd be worth knowing, actually, whether evening, 5:36, let's say, is better than 8:30 in the morning. Interesting. If you pick this up as a recording, or you're live now, you might be there now. Good morning. The chronic smoking, the chronic and drawing. Not quite sure what that means, but I hope you. Hi, Nicole. If you have a thought whether morning or evening is better for you, do put it in the chat. That would be cool. So I must go. These quick little visits, just wanted to share. This will come out as a live. But thank you for being here. And enjoy your Saturday.